Good evening, everyone. Welcome to MBA Karo. I hope the second slot for today is also done with Snap. And recently got a feedback from some of my students that that paper supposedly was easier than what happened in the afternoon slot today. Okay, so Snap is a big gamble, and like for every exam, people know that what are the things and all. Like for example, in Snap, it is a gamble. CMAT has some other issues. All exams have some issues or the other. Okay, so today's Snap, as many of you would agree, who appeared on the first day as well, was more difficult than the first day, isn't it? And I got a feedback that QA was a bit tricky, but LR was doable in the second one, right? So some of, I mean, see, you cannot compare once you see the questions, then only you get to know. But yes, if someone happened to have appeared in the second slot, do let us know your uh, comment your attempts, how much you attempted. Okay, so first one was difficult. Okay, so first one was definitely difficult. How many of you agree that the afternoon slot was difficult? जो 2 to 3 p.m. था. It was lengthy. Okay, like it was way harder. Definitely 4 5 questions का तो difference था. Quant was lengthy. Quant was lengthy. Then Quant had fewer sitters. There were questions like uh, two questions were there on Venn diagram, right? And then there were questions on arithmetic calculation based, right? So most of the questions were this time there were hardly any algebra, geometry mensuration काफी कम था, but there were too much arithmetic and that was uh, on the difficult side, right? So difficult. So every one of you agrees that it was difficult. Okay, so if you are new to the channel, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We will be doing some more revision sessions for the last slot also. Okay, so no geometry and no algebra this time, but there were more of arithmetic and calculation heavy arithmetic, lengthy questions. They agree calculation lag raha tha. Even in LR, the questions were lengthy. Okay, so LR was time consuming, QA was lengthy. Okay, so given the time constraint, QA was calculation intensive, arithmetic heavy, and all of those questions required calculations. Okay, so no permutation combination, no probability this time. Okay, so we have reduced the price of the mocks and you can take them. So we have a mixed variety of mocks, right? So some first before some first paper, some said that our mocks were difficult in the paper. Now some would say that actual exam difficult tha. So we have mix of papers, right? Some are on the easier side also, some are on the difficult side also. Okay, and we have variety of questions also in these mocks. So if you want to check them out, you can do so. Okay, now, number of attempts. So, do let us know that how many of you attempted, or rather, instead of saying number of attempts for this slot compared to slot one, okay, how much more or less, right? What is it, more or less, and by how many questions? I would say that this time compared to slot one, most people have would have done 4 5 less on an average. ठीक है, किसी ने 6 less हो सकते हैं, किसी के 2 3 less हो सकते हैं, but definitely less than that, isn't it? And please do like the video. We'll discuss all the questions. I have managed to sneak in all the questions. Thankfully, I at least noted down all the questions, if not attempted all. Right. Second slot of day two had questions from my mock. What kind of questions? Okay, so but 4 5 5 more, 7 less. Okay, so many of you are saying that 5 6 less. Matlab, I agree that it will be 4 5 less. So definitely the numbers will go down, right? But cutoff will go. Cutoff goes as per the best score, right? So it depends. Like आज का slot two लोग कह रहे हैं थोड़ा comparatively easy था, ठीक है? So I don't know. Like some person said that quant maybe he is a good student, but we'll have to like wait and watch. And after all six slots are done, the best is taken into consideration. Okay. All right. So let's now discuss today's first slot in which I appeared, since I have the questions as well. Right. And some people are happy that I managed to sneak in the rough sheet again. So I would rate that English was also a bit up than the previous time. Okay, it had a lot of questions on figures of speech. I mean, I would say that it was similar, not much uh, different, but yes, somewhat like figure of speech बढ़ गए थे, and there were some questions. One was critical reasoning. So English moderate, I would say. English मतलब थोड़ा time लग रहा था. That's what I mean. I mean, it took more time to solve the question as compared to last. I don't know why. Okay, so English took more time as compared to previous one, right? Then, if we talk about analytical and logical reasoning, it was moderate because it was lengthy. Like there were three questions on there were three questions on what this binary logic, couple of questions on blood relations. ठीक है, -22 था. Okay, I marked that -22 blindly because I knew it is minus. It can be -22 or -24. Okay, so I marked -22 in that. So thankfully I got one question correct at least. Okay, so quant was moderate to difficult. Again, it was lengthy, and would say that it was. I mean, actually, what happened in the previous one as well as this one was. ठीक है, previous one में क्या था कि there were some doable questions. मतलब in slot one it was either doable और इट वाज स्किपेबल. मतलब देख के लग रहा था कि हाँ ये लेंथी होगा. ठीक है, बट इसमें डुएबल बहुत कम थे. इट हैड मोर डुएबल क्वेश्चंस as compared to like slot 1 had more doable questions than in slot 2. Agree? Like आज जो डायरेक्ट करने वाला था एक डीआई वाला था and one was simple interest and rest were insane. Like a person like there are some chocolates and one fourth she eats, then puts one back, right? If you do by uh, like options, then you would have been able to do. There were questions on set theory. ठीक है, even though Venn diagram easy था पर पढ़ना तो पढ़ रहा था ना, right? You had to read that, so reading time was more. So this paper all in all would, I would say that it was long because of it was the reading time involved in this paper was much more than that. Okay, all right, so let's now begin. So please do like the session and invite your other friends also who appeared on the test so that they can calculate their scores. Yeah, so one of the answers was funeral also. All right, so let's discuss. Okay, so general English, there were a couple of questions on error spotting, three questions on part of speech, figure of speech. एक इसमें match the following भी आया था. ठीक है, and there were two others also, although easily doable. Okay, idioms and phrases, there was one question. Sentence structure based one question on tense, reported speech, and vocab and inference. One question was on inference also. Okay, all right. Next is logical reasoning. Right, logical reasoning had ये वाला सबसे easy मुझे ये लगा, and surprisingly in my paper these were towards the end. All these questions were towards the end in my paper. Okay, so it was like I did the difficult ones, and then I realized ki, like these the alphanumeric series ones were easy and they were towards the end. Then syllogism, if you talk about, there was one question on syllogism. Critical reasoning was lower than last time. Right, last time there were 8 or 9 critical reasoning questions. I think this time there were just 4 or 5 critical reasoning questions. There were one question on clock, reflex angle. Yeah, easy, I think, clocks and calendar. Okay, binary logic had 3 questions. They were lengthy questions. Lengthy means you had to read. One was like previous time only. जैसे वो election वाला था. This time there was ball based, right? So that was there, right? And then we had blood relation. Again, remember yesterday I took the marathon and told you about first cousin, second cousin. Okay, and some student was telling me that yes, they had watched the video back then yesterday or center pe mila tha. He told me that first cousin, second cousin आया था, right? So I told you that Snap asks that question ki first cousin, second cousin wale concept pe. Okay, so there was a question on and there was great grandchildren. One was the answer was uh, one was first cousin and then another was great grandchild. Then there were 4 5 questions on logical order, just a lexicographic order tha, and there was one date based, right? So that was there, and there were 3 4 questions on analogy, like what is ENT doctor called, right? Then this dirge and funeral, right? So that there were some questions of that sort as well. Okay, all right. So yeah, so that is for sure. That's a gamble, right? They make people fill all the forms, right? Because like ideally they should make either they should have 1 day examination. एक दिन दो खत्म करो. If they are doing on multiple slots, they should have that. The scores should be normalized, okay, or something like that. Because if you do not do normalization, that is completely unfair. Okay, and no matter how much you write that they have some statistical method and they prepare, that's all bullshit. I mean, I completely disagree that it was at par with the past with the previous one. Okay, definitely काफी difference था. It was significant difference in the difficulty level. Okay, and yeah, so that was the case, right? They mentioned that they have no normalization because the paper levels are the same, but that is definitely not true. A big no. Okay, because uh, that has to be like it is going to be a different one. Okay, the level is much more different. I have seen for the past 3 years, and let's see that how much what happens in the final one, because first slot, like if we talk about the last 3 years, 2023, the first slot was the easiest. 22 first slot was easiest. 23 second slot was easiest. So by that irrational analogy, we are going by that ki third wala easy aa jayega. Let's just hope, right? But let's see that what happened in the examination. Some of you must have written only on the only today. Okay, so let's see this thing. Let's see the questions. So this was the distribution of logical reasoning. Quant and DI, there were 2 questions on DI. Arithmetic dominated. ठीक है, ज्योमेट्री मेंसुरेशन आई हैव रिटन 3 4. आई थिंक 3 4 भी नहीं थे. एक ट्रिग्नोमेट्री का था. देयर वर 2 ऑन ट्रिग्नोमेट्री and one was that circle that thing, your wheel, right? So teen technically geometry mensuration. Set theory, there were 3 questions, 2 3 questions, and numbers 2 3. So no algebra this time. Surprisingly, last time मैंने logarithm पूछ लिया था. They had cubic equation. They had inequality that x cube minus 1 upon x cube. So this time there was no algebra, right? And modern math permutation combination probability, I don't remember there was any question on that. Okay, so it is quite random. So that is unexpected. Either you keep the pattern same, right? Have similar kind of questions. So then one can understand that okay, you have don't have normalization. So it was very different from the previous one. Okay, and arithmetic also was on the lengthy side. Okay, so let's now discuss the questions. Unexpected cutoffs will be based on slot one only. So unfortunately आज के पेपर में तो definitely जो आज का पेपर है वो at least 4 to 5 marks less हो जाएगा, right? So slot I mean lucky are those who appeared on slot one also. ठीक है, some people might not have appeared on slot one, they directly appeared on slot two. There must be many of you. How many of you appeared only today but not in slot one? Okay, slot 3 admit card is out. We will check that later. Okay, wherever it is, we'll see this. Okay, so that is based on slot 1. Definitely, slot 2 was a lower scoring one. So let's now discuss the questions. So please do like this video. Once we reach likes equal to the number of viewers, then we can uh, like start the discussion. Okay, so very few likes on this video. So probably you won't find anyone else bringing all the questions and discussing it, so that we can लाइक एस्टिमेट अवर स्कोर्स एंड लास्ट में बता देना कि कितना आपका मैच किया है. Okay, so evening shift, like once we get the review, we will discuss. Okay, so let's start it. ठीक है, 2024 हाईएस्ट था. ठीक है, 22 से तो ऊपर जाएगी शायद कट ऑफ 20. So let's start with English. Right, there was a question on inference. Right, I did not understand this question on inference. ठीक है, मैं I marked that they had penetrated the server because there was something like that 5 million ransom and 15 million ransom. It was, I mean, that was the first question in my paper, and I read it twice, thrice. Then I just moved on. So what was the answer? What like किसने attempt किया, and then there was one question was that figure of speech bit economical truth वाला. इसका आंसर था एपिग्राम, because epigram is a kind of a satire, so it was some satire being in that statement. Okay, they asked for 2 million and penetrated one. Yeah, so hackers penetrate this. I guess penetrated server ही होना चाहिए, because other options. I mean, I took a lot of time to solve this, attempt this question, then I moved on because I realized कि कुछ हो सकता है कि क्वेश्चन समझ में नहीं आ रहा होगा, पहले क्वेश्चन में इतना टाइम नहीं वेस्ट करना चाहिए. एंड लेटर आई डिड नॉट हैव टाइम टू रिटर्न टू दिस क्वेश्चन, बट इट वाज समथिंग लाइक दे वर आस्किंग फॉर 5 million, but now later on they have, after checking the server, they decided 15 million, something like that. And others were like ransom people are angry and all, did not make sense. ठीक है, rest was it euphemism? Economical with the truth, something was satirical in this. Euphemism कैसे होगा? Euphemism, economical with the truth. Okay, so might be euphemism. Okay, so euphemism. Okay, economical instead of cheap. हाँ, ये भी तो सही है वैसे. Less harsh. Okay, I got it wrong. I thought it was an epigram. So euphemism is right. So then there was one question which says that she works every day. मैंने पूरा ही लिख दिया, अब मुझे याद नहीं कि इसमें करना क्या था. Except Sunday. अच्छा, that was asked that she works. This was one of the questions. Okay. Then there was another question that it is. There was simile and metaphor. Cool cucumber करके कुछ था question. I just remember cool cucumber I have written. Okay, so one was cool cucumber वाला question था. Then there was and was conjunction. इस क्वेश्चन में काफी टाइम लगा मुझे सोचने में. I mean, then I just marked this. Okay, so and cool and was a conjunction, and promptly was is adverb. Okay, ये तो आई गेस सबका सही हुआ होगा, ये इजी था. Then there was plump droll. ये like if someone does vocabulary must have answered it, right? So all others mean fat. Odd one out, one had to find, so this was an odd one out. Okay, yes, and voila, voila कैसे हो जाएगा? Conjunction and adverb था, voila कैसे हो जाएगा? Voila, हाँ, and voila something was written over there. right? So something was there, like and voila, yes, something was there. So this answer was droll. All others mean fat. Okay, droll means someone who is entertaining in nature. Then there was a preposition, some terrorist, some sentence was there that was during. Okay, during. Okay, you skipped it. Near or near was preposition. I mean, this was a tricky one. There were two, three options which were close. Near also. I felt this question was means near या during में से कोई एक होगा. मतलब it was a confusing question, right? I'm not sure of the answer because I also felt that one of these, if someone, it was near or during. Okay, not sure कि answer क्या है. Okay, near is the near is correct. Okay, some of you marked because it was a tricky one. So yeah, so during is for time, right? So during is a preposition of time. So there are two things, right? So it is also a proposition, right? So not sure of this answer unless someone knows the sentence. ओके, भाई सारे क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्ट करके क्वेश्चन लिख के ला रहा हूँ, वही बड़ी बात है. ठीक है. यू कैन नॉट स्कोर 40 इन दिस एग्जाम, सो डोंट just mock someone that who is bringing out all the questions. ओके, तुम रहने दो पेपर देना. ठीक है, हो सकता है गलत हो जाते हैं. इट्स फाइन, राइट? आई एम एक्सेप्टिंग दैट मे बी द आंसर ड्यूरिंग और नियर, नॉट श्योर. Okay, so not sure of this answer, so I don't claim this answer. Right, then there was future continuous tense. That was shall be starting. That was easy, in fact. So that is why I said that there were some tricky questions in English also because it took time to figure out that this sentence, this was also uh, because I don't remember the sentence now. So could be anything, could be the answer. Starting exactly at 9:15. Okay, so that was an easy one. Okay, then there was a question which was book reviewers. I think there was no error in that, or was there any error? I mean, this time I struggled in English. I mean, like I had to see it twice. Was there any error in this? No error, right? No error. Because like whenever there is an error question, we think that error hoga. I think there was no error. Okay, critic was fine. They critic it, right? Critic is a verb over there. So it was a tricky one because you always think that there will be some error. Okay, so that was an error, and then the other one had error. Critic critic is fine. or was this an error in this? Okay, so it must have been error in part C, the critic one. Yes, you are right. Critic is a noun, right? So it should have been verb. So it will be in part C. Agree. Okay, so it should have been critique, like critique it. critique. So yeah, so इसमें C में error होगा. Then there was one another question was euphoric, जिसमें it said that immense excitement and happiness. Okay, so that then there was one question. हाँ, so critique वाला होगा, Q वाला, QUE वाला. Okay, so then was once were okay, yeah, euphoric means someone who is very excited and happy. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Then there was reported speech. If she would give that, now writing this English questions take a lot of time. Book to him. Okay, so ये वाला sentence होना चाहिए. If she would give. Okay. All right. So then there was another question which was another error based. Right. I could not find that error and just skip that. Okay. Second was what was that error? Second, there was another error question. I mean, I was like after seeing those 10, 12 questions, I started like a bit of panicking कि ये कुछ तो सही नहीं लग रहा है, पहले से difficult लग रहा है. Some Frenchmen, French, no error. I did not find any error in that. Then like in the first one, I had mistakenly put no error, and then I thought कि ये कुछ गड़बड़ लग रहा है. No error था. Sure. Some French noblemen. Something like that. Collaborated or something for that. No error. Okay, so no error. So second error, second question must have been no error. Okay, then there was a question on figure of speech, right? That matched the following. I did not write all things, but I know this order one C two A. There was one. One was pun. One was simile. Another was ये order था CAEDB. आई गेस ये टेबल तो हर ऑर्डर में सब में एक ही रहती है. Okay, so this was 1C, 2A, 3E, 4D, 5B. ये easy था. They ordered 10 large, sizzling hot. Now this was also a tricky question. Okay, then I wrote whole wheat pizza, but I believe so. इसलिए मुझे लगा कि English was also tricky this time. ठीक है. I felt that 10 large sizzling hot whole wheat, like I was confused कि ये पहले आएगा कि ये पहले आएगा among these two options I was able to eliminate easily. ठीक है. This was a tricky one. ठीक है. sizzling hot whole wheat pizza होगा या whole wheat पहले आएगा sizzling hot pizza आएगा. I'm still not sure, but I believe this sounds more natural. Okay, because like it is like all these are adjectives, right? Whole wheat, sizzling hot, and this is like for adjective there is an additional adverb. So I believe कि ये पहले आएगा, ये बाद में आएगा. I mean, I do not know that what is correct, but yes, I discussed with some other people also. They said that sizzling hot whole wheat pizza is तरह से होना चाहिए. So this should be the correct one, but it was a tricky one. I mean, you had to see the options. There were close options in this. Okay. All right. So okay, pizza से कुछ तो सीखा, right? Good. Then the last question was chip on shoulder. What does chip on shoulder mean? So idiom phrases. There was only one question this time. I think last time there was three questions. That was also a tricky one. नहीं, chip on shoulder, the idiom means angry. ये tricky था. Like I also thought कि chip on shoulder would be proud, but yes, it is angry. Like you can search for uh, like what does chip on shoulder mean? Chip on shoulder आर्मी वाला नहीं था. Chip on shoulder, we generally think, right, कि army वाला होगा. I also thought that thing logically. Later on, I searched internet कि what is chip on shoulder. Chip on shoulder means like to be angry at something or angst, like ऐसे कुछ था. There was one option, angst or for something. Most of the people would have got it wrong. Or it was something like angry वाला कुछ था. मतलब देख नेगेटिव मीनिंग था. Okay, I don't recall that option, but later on I checked कि मैंने ये check किया था chip on shoulder because I also thought कि army वाला हो सकता है. Proud feeling, I marked that as the answer, but later on when I checked, because these things I checked like क्योंकि idioms and phrases, if you do not know, so there were a lot of questions, tricky questions. I must agree that English was also not that straightforward as was in the previous one. So it took time to solve, attempt even the English section. Okay. All right, so let's now see the next one. Right, let's now move to the quant section and see this. Then there was a question that there are 150 numbers, right? Some even multiple of five, multiple of seven. Some books were there, right? The answer to this question was 51 books. Do not follow in each of any of these. Okay, what was the answer to this? 51. Chip on shoulder, like I searched on internet, it says that to be angry at something ऐसा कुछ था. 51 था आंसर. ठीक है, so 51. Okay, the next question was that some royal जो pie chart वाला जो था rather. That was easy question. I would say that कुछ तो easy question आए थे. This was one of those. Okay, then there was question on sine 47 plus cos 77. How many of you did this question? Now, this was unfair to people because many people do not know this trigonometry. ये 12th की trigonometry पूछ ली थी, which is very rare. Okay, you generally get 10th level trigonometry, heights and distances and all. This was easy. ठीक है, this is how it happens is sine 47 is equal to cos 43. So ये बता देता हूँ कि एक आइडेंटिटी लग रही थी cos 43 plus cos 77. So what happens is it is 2 times of cos 43 plus 77 by 2, a plus b by 2, cos a minus b by 2, or 77 minus 43 by 2. Okay, so this is cos 17 and this is 2 cos 60. So cos 60 degree is 1 by 2. Okay, so 1 by 2 or 2 cancel हो जाएगा. You will get cos 17 degree. Now this was something which is taught in class 11 12, right? So definitely not a question worth asking in an MBA entrance examination, right? It was easy for only those who have done trigonometry in 11 12. जिन्हें 11 12 में मैथ्स लिए उन्हीं को आता होगा, because ये साइन कॉस वाले इस तरह के I have never seen in any examination asking such question. Okay, some of you might have got it right. Okay, how many? If you someone might have marked fluke, right? Answer was cos 17. All right. Okay. The next question was that average one. Calculation heavy था कि 90 people have average of 160. ठीक है 90 students या जो भी था average is 160 and the highest minus lowest is 188 and when they are removed average goes down by 2, right? So lowest was 154 in this case. ये क्वांट में आंसर सही मिल जाएंगे आपको because most of the questions I did it. So I'm like quick at solving quant, right? Which you must have seen in solving attempting questions also, right? Then there was one I don't know कि candies थी क्या थी, something was eaten, like there were some people Ela ate one fourth and then returned one to the stock. The answer to this question was 32. Okay, one this question 32. How many of you attempted this question? Option से करने लायक था, वैसे इक्वेशन बना के तो बहुत लंबा था. I did using options, right? I took one fourth, so 32 का one fourth is 24, and when you put back it becomes 25, right? So it had to be done using options. Use options because अगर इक्वेशन बना के करने बैठते तो uh, गलत होगा. So 32 is the answer. 32 got the answer 32. All right, let's move on to the next question. Okay, the next question was heights and distances. Like काफी अच्छा क्वेश्चन था बट स्नैप के लायक नहीं था. अगर if a question examination like that or something asks that, it makes sense because you have time to read the question. I did those questions, right? This there is a drone and it is flying at a height of 300 meters, right? And there is one thing to the east, right? East से 30 डिग्री एंगल बन रहा है. So east वाले की डिस्टेंस आ रही थी 30 √3 and सॉरी नॉर्थ वाले की डिस्टेंस थी 300 √3 and this was east वाले की डिस्टेंस थी 300. So the distance between these 2 points is 600. Now this question looks cool, but it is time consuming. You have to read and understand the situation. ठीक है, ये easy नहीं था, मतलब time consuming था. Heights and distances answer था 600. How many of you got 600? 600, right? So it was a 3D heights and distances problem. Like you have to imagine 3D. एक टावर है and north side से एक person देख रहा है 30 डिग्री पे. So that person must be 300 √3 different directions. Okay. So it was a tough question. यहाँ पे एक टावर है. So that tower is 300 meter high. So the answer was 600. Okay. All right. Today none of these in the first slot were fewer. So milk water 2:5, then milk water 6:7, and when you mix, it is 4:5. Right. So the answer to this was 7:65. Now, if someone is good with arithmetic, must have attempted more questions in today's paper. Okay. So 7:65. You can tell your answers because quant I attempted all questions. ठीक है, LR मेरे कम रह गए थे. I mean, I did solve it. So eighth question there was that 8% 4 year, like अब जिसको सिंपल इंटरेस्ट कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट के परसेंटेज के टर्म्स में द आंसर वाज 4 लाख या 4 लाख आंसर था कि 44,000 था. 44,000 वाज द डिफरेंस की. Okay, so that was the answer to this. I think 4 lakh was the answer, or 44,000 was the difference that was given, right? Then there was a question on wheel. Wheel, it was 500 RPM. Isn't it 500 RPM? Because it was like circumference was given. Yesterday, if you attended my marathon, I told you 744 wala concept. Right? So circumference was 220 एंड 500 आरपीएम होगा तो 66 किलोमीटर आएगा. ओके, सो दैट वाज द आंसर. द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन वाज, अच्छा, हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू डिड दिस एप्पल बनाना वाला क्वेश्चन? Orange, some fruits were there. How many of you attempted this question? Just want to see that this was a riddle. तो एक क्वेश्चन वो riddle का भी डाल है. Okay, and in our box we have put riddles in some of the uh, questions. I think we have mostly put in logical reasoning section. So this question, the answer was 12. How many of you got 12 as the answer? I will tell you the logic for this. ठीक है, explain करता हूँ. Apple, orange, that banana. 12. How many of you got 12 as the answer? Okay, many of you skipped. None of these tha. Okay, so let us see that how do we get this answer and just verify also. I mean, देखो एप्पल बनाना, एक एप्पल उसको मिल गया. ठीक है, they were saying that there are 5 boxes and each box there are 5 fruits in each box. Okay, 5 fruits in each box. So in the first box he has got apple, in one box he has got mango. So there were three other fruits. One was orange, papaya and banana. So something he had to find. So he has figured out apple, he has figured out mango. So question was asking that maximum कितने attempts चाहिए होंगे, right? So suppose now he searches for the third box. So he needs to get 3 fruits, maximum 3 fruits निकालने पड़ेंगे. अगर पहला एप्पल आ गया, सेकंड मैंगो आ गया, तो थर्ड के लिए आप 3 टाइम्स निकालना पड़ेगा. ठीक है, राइट. थ्री केसेस लेने पड़ेंगे आपको, बिकॉज पहला एप्पल, सी ऑल 5, द क्वेश्चन सेड दैट देयर आर 5 थिंग, राइट. So you will have to take 3 fruits to figure out which is the next fruit. Now when you go to the, suppose now you have got the orange also. ठीक है, now you know 3 fruits, तो हो सकता है आपका पहला एप्पल आ जाए, दूसरा मैंगो आ जाए, थर्ड ऑरेंज आ जाए. So you'll have to pick the fourth fruit to determine, get a new fruit. Okay, and let's say in this last box you have to find the banana. The first fruit, let us say apple आ गया, second mango आ गया, third orange आ गया, fourth papaya आ गया. So you might have to maximum take 5 chances. So you need maximum 12 chances to get all fruits. So that was the question. It said that there are 5 fruits in 5. Each basket has all these 5 fruits. Okay, so that's how I did it. I mean, I took time to read this question. It was a time consuming and skippable question. Okay, so next question. Then there was select unselect, जिसमें select का ratio दिया था कि 7:2 है. If 200 less and 30 less were selected, 200 less applied and 30 less applied. What was the answer? 5850. Isn't it 5850? ये वाला क्वेश्चन तो अटेम्प्ट किया हुआ. हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू अटेम्प्टेड दिस? 5850, डिड यू गेट दिस आंसर? Did anyone attempt it? Okay, so I'll solve this question for you. So it said that selected ratio, rejected is, unselected is 7:2. Okay, so not selected is 2x. Sorry, selected is 7x. Select ratio total is 7/9. Okay, so suppose selected is 7x, total are 9x. Now it said 30 less are selected. ठीक है, 30 लेस सेलेक्ट कर रहे हैं एंड एप्लीकेंट्स आर रिड्यूसिंग बाय 200. सो द रेशियो इज 4:1. सो सेलेक्टेड रेशियो टोटल कितना हो जाएगा? सो 4/5. सो यू विल गेट 35x minus 150 equals 36x minus 800. Okay, so x is 650. So initially how many are there? 9x. 9x into this is 5850. Okay, 5850. Okay, some of you might have attempted it. Okay, so yeah, 9 se divisible ei tha, so then you would have gone by that logic. Okay, then there was another one, that is price is increasing in the ratio 5:7 and footfall is increasing in the ratio, sorry, decreasing in the ratio 9:7. ठीक है. So it was 3.6 lakh. So ये easy था because it is 45 and this is 49. So ratio से करना था. This was 3.6 lakh. This would be 3.92 lakh. 3.92 lakh. This answer was 3.92 lakh. Okay. Then there was another question on which said that nut bolt wala. How many of you attempted this question? Nut bolt. I attempted it later, skipped it first. The answer was 13. किस किसने नट बोल्ट अटेम्प्ट किया? नट बोल्ट 13. इट सेट ए बी सी में एक ऐड होगा, डी में दो रिड्यूस हो जाएंगे. सो वी हैड टू काउंट दैट सीरीज. आई अटेम्प्टेड दिस. आंसर वाज 13. यस, मैंने भी उंगली रख के काउंट किया. ठीक है. आंसर वाज 13 और 11. 11 था. श्योर. ओके, सो देन इट मस्ट बी 11. Okay, maybe I mean, I attempted this in last. I skipped this question, so should be 11 then. Maybe I skipped one of the D's. So possible I might have made mistake. Then there was one question on numbers, right? कि 16 से division में 12 remainder आता है, ठीक है, and 24 से 20 आता है. LCM वाला concept है. The answer was 1196 of that question. Okay, so this was 1196, right? Then there was a question on the DI, another DI, the bar graph question. The answer was 2024. बार ग्राफ देखो, दो क्लोज ऑप्शंस थे. 2023 में था the increase was 15 by 72, like 87 and 72 was in 2023. Okay. And 2024, like I'll tell you how to do this question fast. It was 98 with respect to 81. Right, that was the case. Now increase is 15 by 72 and this is 17 by 81. So we have to compare these two fractions. So इसको 9 से divide कर लो, 8 and this is 9. So 15 into 9 is 135 and 17 into 8 is 136. कौन सा बड़ा? 136 बड़ा. So this is greater. Okay, so बचपन की maths. In school they used to teach these things, right? You did not have to calculate this thing, right? Close options बचपन में पढ़ाते थे ना स्कूल में. भूल गए स्कूल के maths. How to compare fractions. So this was supposed to be done like this. You have to compare these fractions. 87, basically it was 87, so increase of 15 on 72, and it was 17 by 81. So you have to compare these two fractions. There were close options. As soon as I saw that, I got that, okay, somewhere around 20s. So just avoid it, do this way. So the answer was 17 by 81. That is 2024. Okay, 2024. So those who got 2024, you can use calculator to figure out. Okay, so if you can use calculator to figure out, then check that which is कौन सा स्कूल था. In your school, they did not teach fractions. How to compare fractions? Like suppose 2 by 3 और 3 by 5 में कौन सा बड़ा होगा? We used to do this cross multiplication, right? 10 आया, 9 आया. ठीक है, तो किस में बड़ा आया? 10 इसमें आया, तो ये बड़ा फ्रैक्शन होगा. Okay, 2024 correct होगा, देख लो. Like I just remember that, thanking my school teachers that they taught this. I mean, I suppose it must have been taught in everybody's school, isn't it? Comparing fractions. Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next question. We have discussed 15 questions thus far. All have been correct. एक का आंसर था 444. Again calculation वही था कि boys and girls are there. ठीक है, कुछ की फीस माफ होती है. बॉयज आर 40%, गर्ल्स आर 60%, और 20% बॉयज की फीस नहीं होती, 30% गर्ल्स की फीस नहीं है, एंड दीज आर 390 पीपल, राइट? and then it was asked that 40% of others get concession. So that question was asked. The number was 444. Okay, 444. Isn't it? Acha, now let's do those two Venn diagram based questions. So ये हमने कर लिया 16 17 18 फिर लास्ट में दो कर लेंगे. Then there was time and work. That was easy one, which was 60 40 120. 60 40 120, isn't it? Okay, then there was another question which was like प्राइस था पेन और पेंसिल बॉक्स. ठीक है, 50-50 में खरीदता है. It makes 100. This is the mark price, cost price, mark price, and selling price 90 and 127.5. The answer was 0.705. Again, calculation intensive question दिए थे कुछ. Right, only people who have very solid calculations would have dared to do these questions, isn't it? So how many of you attempted this question? Please acknowledge कि ये आंसर सही है, because quant का I guess सारे आंसर सही होंगे. I made one mistake in one counting. Otherwise, I think I got all questions right. Okay, now coming to those watermelon. इतनी भूख क्यों लग रही है? Watermelon वैसे भी गर्मियों में मिलता है. ठीक है, watermelon and that question कर लेते हैं. Watermelon, ये वाला वेन डायग्राम ऐसा बन रहा था. Watermelon नहीं, ये सी है. Coconut, watermelon, and then some any don't know what it is. There were 302 people. So this was coming here. So 12, 22. So 302 minus 22. The answer was 280. Okay, 280. Okay. All right. Then there was another question on Venn diagram, which was math, science. So there were a couple of questions on this: math, science, and English. Or I don't remember. I think math, science, English. Ita. 18, 12. Now I felt these questions, although easy, were time consuming. Okay, so that was sorry, ये 10 है. So, I mean, this was given as 18, this was given as 30, 23, 28. So, you had to make this. ऐसा नहीं था कि ये 10 दिया था. It was given that these two is 28. So, this was 60 was the answer to this question. Okay, 60, only mathematics. Now, the questions look easy, but given the time constraint, it was time consuming because you had to read a lot. Economics, maths, statistics. Okay, maths, only maths was 60, right? Okay, so these are the quant questions. Okay, so we got all the answers. I got one of the questions wrong. Maybe I counted one less D. मैंने भी उंगली लगा के काउंट किया था. हो सकता है concentration level कम रहा होगा. I am low on concentration level. Otherwise, if my concentration level were supreme, then high on speed but low on the concentration part. Okay, now let's talk about the LR section. So there was one question on earthquake, जो cause effect वाला था. I believe that it is effect of some common cause or common cause नहीं था, independent cause था. Right? एक question मतलब common cause दिया ही नहीं था. Effect of independent cause. I marked this as the answer because see, it said that the earthquake is happening, right? But now if he called it ki the scientists have discovered something, right? So earthquake will not happen because of scientists discovery or something like that. Okay, because it is not related. Even if scientists do not discover, the earthquake will happen. So I believe that it was uh, like effect of, I mean, there should have been a question on they should have given common cause or something, like I put independent cause. देखो साइंटिस्ट डिस्कवरी कर रहे हैं, उसकी वजह से इफेक्ट नहीं होगा. ठीक है, सो सेकंड कैन नॉट बी द कॉज, वन कैन नॉट बी द इफेक्ट. ठीक है, टेक्टोनिक प्लेट हिलेगी ना, साइंटिस्ट डिस्कवर, अरे तो साइंटिस्ट की डिस्कवरीज अगर साइंटिस्ट डिस्कवर नहीं भी करते तो अर्थक्वेक तो तब भी आता ना. So that was the logic here. Okay, so that was the thing here. Then another cause effect was he did not have not active was the cause, not active lifestyle was the cause, and the effect was kidney stone. Kidney stone diagnosis. This was a good question, and I believe that this time the paper took a lot of time to read and understand questions. Even in English, as we discussed, that there were some questions which were tricky. Now, this is there was one option like he has kidney stone, that is the cause, and effect was pain, but pain was not given over there. Okay, so some people might have marked that also. Late night good for late night good for health. I did not get it. Like there was some. I think that was not good for health. Which of the following cannot be inferred good for health? So I found out. I mean, uh, some questions like you take time to solve these questions. Something good for health. For ऐसे कुछ था. Okay, does not imply. So good for health. Something like that was there. Then there was one question on hair conditioner. I did not get those questions. Now these were four questions in my LR section also. So that made me confusing. कि यार ये क्या question आ रहे हैं? Uh, like it happens. Like if it's a flow of getting questions right. Okay, the series and all questions came towards the end. Okay, so hair conditioner. I don't know what was the logic. Uh, Prefix suffix, but I could not find prefix in that. I mean, I just skipped it because I was not getting this. Mix of prefix, suffix was the answer. None of these. So I don't know. Remember the question? It was something related to prefix, suffix. Then, right? I did something. It was not it was some mix back kind of thing, right? So I just skipped this question because initial three four questions that do not go well, then I just avoid those and try to do something better. None the answer, or was there some code? Okay, something Casey. Okay, so I skipped this question. Then there was a question was trophy one, that binary logic. Trophy one was yellow. Yellow was the trophy. Okay, it was like previous question only. Previous means slot one में भी ऐसा question आता है. If there are two contradictory statements, they are one of them is true, one of them is false. So only one was false. So the person would say that like the trophy is yellow. Okay, so trophy was there. Okay, all right. Then there was the next question was that again deductive reasoning was. I mean, I mark deductive reasoning, but it is also possible as fallacy of composition. Now I did not recall that some gym wala question tha. I did deductive reasoning. Okay, but someone said later that because क्योंकि negative था, so could be fallacy वाला भी हो सकता है. Circular. I'll have to check this. This is not sure. Not sure of this. I mark deductive because first वाले से second वाले का conclusion आ रहा था. ठीक है, although कुछ someone said that कि कुछ negative आ रहा था and something. I mean they just did it that time and then did not look at that question again. Okay, so could be anything. Okay, so this I mark deductive. Maybe other options were inductive, circular, and fallacy of composition. I'll create a video on this, that the different kinds of reasoning. In the examination hall, you did not have enough time to see all these questions. So I just, because I realized कि आज तो मैं सारा paper note नहीं कर पाऊंगा, then I moved on to other questions, right, and tried to finish that part first because that was more important for me. Then letter minus symbol का आंसर क्या था? Did anyone happen to do it? There were two options, minus 24 and minus 22. Should be one of those two. Because obviously letters come the symbols ज़्यादा थे. Many are saying minus 22 answer था. Was it minus 22 or minus 20? There was no time to revisit. Okay. Then there was another question on Tinu Praveen. So first cousins the. Yesterday we discussed this concept. What is first cousin, second cousin? Right. So they had grandparents were same. The answer was first cousin. Minus 22, correct? Okay. I knew that it has to be minus 22 or minus 24 because, I mean, they were lesser. Okay. Letters were symbol less than symbol. So definitely negative answer another. Then there was another on occult. There were some questions on verbal analogy like vocab is supernatural. Okay. Then there was some lexicographic. I got the answer 1710. Did anyone get this answer? 1710. 1710. Did anyone attempt that question? Okay, मीनिंग नहीं पता था. लास्ट ईयर आया था लेक्सिकोग्राफिक में. 1710. How many of you got 1710 as the answer? Okay, 1710 आंसर आया ना लोगों का मतलब. That's what I was thinking. ठीक है. I have the words as well. Like if you want, I can discuss right now. ठीक है, तो discuss कर लेते हैं so that those who do not know how to attempt that. So basically, it was toy, right? And toy. Second was pan, dollar, okay, and then laptop and pillow. ठीक है, इसे हमें लगाना था लेक्सिकोग्राफिक ऑर्डर में. And next we had to put in reverse lexicographic order. That was magnet. Second one was rivet. Now imagine writing these things. कितना सारा टाइम लगता है. सारे वर्ड्स नोट करके लाया मैं. And then some REF only I've written. Maybe refer, let's take, and fifth one word is river. Okay. Now what will happen is if you have to arrange them in lexicographic order. So first will be dollar. So that number will be 3. Okay. Then after dollar we will have laptop. So 4. Then third will come as pan because PA. Okay. So third 3, 4, 2. Then pillow 5. And last will be toy. Right. So this is the lexicographic order of this. This we need to put in reverse lexicographic order. So last word is slipper. So S will come first. Then in R we will have rivet first. RIV. RIV. So 2 will come and then RIB. So 3 to 5. Then refer will come 4 and the last one will be magnet. Okay, so 10, 1710. Okay, so this one was, yeah, second one was reverse lexicographic, right? Yeah, so if you are enjoying this session, so please do like the video, okay, and do recommend our institute to your juniors, right, future aspirants. Okay, so these are till 10 questions. We will discuss the upcoming 15 questions also. ENT question, the answer was, this is called otolaryngology. Gologist, something like that. Okay, in this, someone would have like at least eliminated one or two options, right? So this was the answer to this, and then there was 10:30 में जो reflex होता है, that is 225 degrees. Okay, so answer is 135. So when you have reflex angle, so we did one question on clocks and calendars. So if they ask for a reflex angle, subtract from uh, 360, right? So 360 minus 135. So आप angle निकालते हो formula से 135. So you need to subtract from 360, right? 225 is right. The next question was that some tribe, M tribe, which are truth tellers, Konda tribe is liars, and T tribes are alternators. So Sidhu was Konda tribe. Now these were insane questions. I mean, you had to like it was not even given truth tellers or you had to do this. So did anyone attempt this question? Sidhu tribe and all? अच्छा टेलीफोन नंबर क्या था कि इट वाज समथिंग लाइक 869 and then what like having that was I did not understand the question. So what I did was हाँ लायर था वही कोंडा ट्राइब था लायर लायर ही आ रहा था. So I happened to attempt all these questions. So you can imagine कि uh, I mean that's why critical reasoning and all I do not pay attention to it much because कई बार dubious answers होते हैं but I attempt these questions. Sidhu was liar, right? Okay, so how many of you did this? Correct है liar. Okay, this में क्या था कि 869 तो आएगा बाकी whatever I marked this as the answer. Do not know whether it is right or wrong. So whatever they said that like it said that all of them said 869. Three of them were right. So most likely number पूछा था. Like three were saying that this digit is 8, this digit is 4. So I marked that. I do not understand the logic in detail, but probably this would be the most likely answer because तीन लोग कह रहे थे very high chances because nothing else was given, right? Straightforward, that straightforward they were using. Okay, that's what I use the logic because see, we do not know the right first three digits were certain. Next three we will obviously go with the majority. So if three of the four are saying right, so it should have been that way only 8453 or whatever the order was, right? So same order which that was the logic which I applied. I mean I believe that question was easy but it was lengthy to read. ठीक है उतना बड़ा दिया था वो. So that was the only trick in that. The question was easy. So it was a time consuming paper in terms of reading. The next question was 1st December को Sunday है. ठीक है, does not matter what date was given. It was asking 193 days before. So the answer was Wednesday. Okay, so this answer was Wednesday. ठीक है, 193 days back means like if you go minus 196, that's a multiple of 7, same day. 1 minus 196 is Sunday. ठीक है, उसमें plus 3 add कर दोगे, that will be Wednesday. So the answer was Wednesday to this question. Okay, then next question if we go to, that was on uh, professional. There were some questions on this also. Legendary, okay, beginner, expert, like intermediate, beginner, expert. So the order was right. See, we had to arrange in I guess in reverse order, right? So beginner will come in the end, intermediate will come in this. So it was the answer. So highest is legendary. So if you say that this is a legendary, okay. So that is a legendary. Legendary means the सबसे सबसे ऊपर वाला level. तभी कहते हैं legend है. You got the legends of the game and all. So legendary सबसे ऊपर आएगा. ठीक है, legendary will be the first one. So it was numbered at 2. So 2, then expert, then professional, then intermediate, and then beginner. So it was easy. I mean, देखो initially there would be confusion between these three, but options made कि beginner last होगा उससे पहले intermediate होगा. There was one option. So options helped you solve it. So this was the order. Okay. Then there was a syllogism question which said that पता नहीं M. So the answer was no M, no L is M. जो भी L और M जो भी थे. Okay, I don't recall syllogism था क्या, but यही पढ़ा है. So it was asked you had to arrange it proficient. Okay, proficient. I mean, I just write PROF, so proficient. Okay, you have to arrange in descending order. Okay, so this was the answer. Then there was one question on that analogy. The dirge is a song for funeral. Okay, so there was some jingle kind of thing. So this was the आंसर. अच्छा, ये मैंने आंसर सॉल्व किया है लास्ट में. आई रिमेम्बर कि रेस में सी आंसर था. वन was सी. प्रीतम आई लाइक ही बिलोंग टू सी. ठीक है, प्रीतम बिलोंग टू सी. रेस कौन जीता था मुझे नाम याद नहीं आ रहा, बट आई सॉल्व इट. ये मैंने रफ शीट टपाने के बाद सॉल्व किया था. I mean, because I cannot keep the rough sheet in the end, right? So, like 2 3 minutes before the examination ends, I sneak out the rough sheet. So, I did solve it after, I mean, when only 2 minutes were left, I tried my hands on this question. So, solved it. Did anyone solve this? Like, I remember C was one of the answers, and Abhimanyu was the winner, or no, no, Preetham belonged to C. C Abhimanyu? Yes, so answer was C and Abhimanyu. Because I remember solving this question towards the end. There were two options with C, and Abhimanyu was the winner. ऐसे कुछ था, right? Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So like this was the last question which I attempted, but I did not remember because I forgot to note down. And once the exam was over, uh, I didn't happen to note down on your hand, right? So yeah. So C and Abhimanyu. So what happens is like that's an art. Like once see after the exam is over, no one will let you take the rough sheet, right? So before the examination end, let's say 3 4 minutes are left, invigilators are like they lose focus on students. They are about to like uh, they are more concerned toward the exam khatam hone wala hai. So at that time like you can easily sneak in the rough sheet. So one of the rough sheets you can sneak in. Okay, so I take time to fold that and just I look at the clock कि 2 3 मिनट बच्चे हैं, रफ शीट अब जेब में डालो. And during that time, post that if time permits, you can solve the remaining questions. So C, Abhimanyu was the right answer, right? Okay. Then next question और कर लेते हैं. That was I did not understand the number logic here, but कि number कैसे बन रहा था? YC8 W5E. But the later logic enabled us to answer UG6 and did not spend too much time on it. S7I, ठीक है, QK4, and the answer was O9M. I did not know how 9 came, but definitely this is -2 -2 -2 -2 -2. So O आ गया, and this was +2 +2 +2 +2. K plus 2 is M. Number I did not get the logic, but that was the only option with O and M. O9M. O9M, right? Number कैसे बन रहा था? That logic I did not. Okay, so that was the answer. Next, see the next last 5 questions. So please do like the video here. At least appreciate this effort. Keep 1% getting all the answers, and most of them will be right. Yes, OM only one option was there, so I marked O9M. Okay, then towards the end I realized कि इतने आसान question last में छुपे हुए थे. 1 7 25. This was 79. 241 and 727. So the logic was into 3 plus 4 into 3 4 plus 4, right? So that was one of the answers. Then dates in sequence. Some dates were given 23 March, 23 April. The answer was 6 4 3 1 2 5. Reverse में लग रही थी वो dates, wasn't it? It was something in reverse date. इसमें भी टाइम खराब हुआ मेरा. फर्स्ट आई डिड इन द करेक्ट ऑर्डर, आई डिड नॉट फाइंड एनी ऑर्डर. देन आई थॉट कि डेट वाइज लगाता हूँ 21, 22, 23. दैट डिड नॉट वर्क. देन आई थॉट मंथ वाइज देखना है. सो लेटर ऑन आई रियलाइज दैट इट वाज रिवर्स ऑर्डर, राइट, रिवर्स chronological order. So there were too many questions on this, and then there was another sitter towards the end of the paper. I mean, I didn't know it happened in my paper or some others also. The initial few questions were difficult, rest were easy. So this was 2, 6, 12, 30. Then there was a great grandchild, fourth generation नीचे जा रहा था, like fourth generation, one, two, three, four. So this was the great grandchild. So it said that this person's father's and uh, like great grandchild बनना था, fourth generation में आ रहा था, second, third, fourth. Great grandchild. This was easy. 1 into 2, 2 into 3, 3 into 4. So this was a simple series. Did you get great grandchild as the answer? Ha, the Rampal was the name of the lady, right? And the last question was 1996, 2024, 2052, and 2080. Right, so the answer was same day on 1st January because same calendar banega. So leap years repeat after 28 years. Okay, so this concept we discussed in that the calendar video also. Right, 28 years, leap years repeat. So that means same uh, this calendar, or the question was not same calendar. It said that same day on January 1. Okay, so yeah, that was the answer. Okay, so these were the questions, right? So some of these questions might have been wrong also, definitely. So what is your score? So like cutoffs are going to be based on slot one. Today's definitely like 4 5 to aaj se kam, like difference of at least 4 5 marks. Definitely, because even in English I found some questions were tricky when it's time consuming to read and solve. LR questions were lengthy to read. Right, there were some questions that were easy. I mean, supposedly easy, like that phone number one, but you had to read and understand it, right? So, okay, you are getting 47. Great. Like, see, it will be best of the scores, right? So, like, slot one was on the easier side. Don't know about slot two of today, but slot one, both shifts were similar levels. Okay. Negative marking is 0.25 negative. So, yeah, I mean, you can be hopeful. See, it is just that we have data of some कितने लोग देख रहे हो आप 200 लोग देख रहे हो ठीक है डू नॉट नो अबाउट thousands of aspirants who appeared क्या पता उनको और खराब हो so this is just a prediction right so wait for the final result and if you are getting 40 plus then I mean probably start like if you're targeting depending on the your target college you should start preparing for GDPI okay or like see until results come no one can predict anything even in CAT until the results are out percentile predictors vary करते हैं but I believe on the opinion that I have of the examination this time the cutoff will be slightly lower than the last year and plus let's see wait and watch what happens in slot 3 if slot 3 turns out to be good then people are going to score heavily in that and most of the toppers are going to fit from that slot like last time it happened slot 2 was the easiest right so in 2022 this is that's why like snap is quite notorious slot 1 was easy okay other two were difficult moderate and difficult kind of thing in 2023 slot 1 was moderate this was easy and moderate I mean moderate or difficult you can call them this was the easiest slot right 2024 we can't say that easy moderate I mean comparatively this was better or if you compare today's slot if you call today's slot difficult then second was first one was moderate or the other way around so we do not know that which is going to be the easiest slot out of them Okay, so accordingly the cutoffs will vary. But if you are getting 40 plus, like in either today's paper or the previous paper, so that should you would stand a good chance to uh, like get calls. Okay, so just wait for the final result, and if you're targeting for the last slot, keep preparing for it. And we have slashed the prices of our mocks, and if you wish to take our mocks, you can do so. Okay, so that is it for today's slot. I'm sure you must be tired. So am I after writing the examination and then discussing all these questions. Okay, so please don't forget to like this video to appreciate our efforts of bringing all the questions and discussing them. Maybe one or two, or maybe a handful of questions could be off topic. Maybe what we discussed may not be the correct one, because it happens, right? You do not remember everything from the paper, right? And like whatever I remember, I try to note down. Sometimes I forget what was in the statements, and of course one can always make mistakes also. So bearing that, most of the answers that you uh, uh, get it right. So we've discussed all those questions. You can check those, like if you joined the stream late, so please do check it out. You will get the answers to most of them. And if you find any discrepancies, you can always discuss in the comments, and then we will see it and review it and respond to you. Okay, so thank you everyone for attending this wonderful session. And don't forget to like the video before you end the stream. Okay, and all the best for Snap 3. Okay, don't go with any bias, right? As before the examination, I created a video. I told you that there could be variations, and there were. I told you कि reported speech आ सकता है, आ गया, right? Similarly, there were questions on order and all. So by this, I could say that there will be variation in questions. कुछ नए क्वेश्चन आएंगे जो अभी तक नहीं आए थे. मे बी इन क्वांट दे माइट चेंज. आई गेस कि क्वांट थोड़ा इजी कर सकते हैं. If quant turns out to be, then people will score more in this exam. Okay, all right. So thanks. No response key, so there is no transparency in this examination, unfortunately. But yes, it's a gamble, right? Most of the examinations are gamble. This is a gamble. Some other examinations are there, right? Some issues with, like if someone happens to appear in CMAT, MHCT, they know that those exam have different kind of issues. So yeah, it is fun taking these tests and analyzing them. Okay, so all the best to ones who, congratulations, those who are scoring decent on it. So start preparing for GDPI. And for the others, you can, like if you have not been performing well, I mean, you can focus on the upcoming examinations. So there are multiple examinations which are still lined up. So you can at least ace those examinations and get into a decent B school. Okay, so thanks for everyone for watching this. Have a great day. Goodbye.